Hey class, I've recorded a little bit of information for you on our A.P.A tabs. If you've noticed, there's about 3 or 4 online videos to show you how to do some A.P.A formatting. But before you watch those, I've got a little introduction to A.P.A formatting. A.P.A is the American Psychological Association, and maybe in some of your other schoolwork you may have used A.P.A. There's also MLA, there's Chicago, Turabian. Each group of studies uses their own type of formatting. In communication, we use A.P.A, and A.P.A is really the probably most used, more widely used throughout the world. So, as we look at A.P.A, let's look at a few things here that A.P.A is standard for, and you'll need this for our class, and you're going to need this for other classes that you take as well. Now, before we start this, remember some of the things that we've been talking about thus far. In business communication, we want to be concise, right? We want to get right to the point. We want to make things simple for our customers and our coworkers. But we also said, as communicators, as professionals, we need to be able to use research. We need to be able to use larger words when we have to. That's why we've been studying our vocabulary. We've been working on how to create things. So with A.P.A, this is more of a scholarly research. But the good thing about this particular paper that we're doing, it's not a long or large paper. And from what you need to concentrate on, focus your attention on some certain things that are unique with A.P.A compared to some other styles. So let's look at a few. On your cover sheet, you're going to notice that you're going to have something that's different. It's called a running head, and this is on the top of the page. As most A.P.A papers, you have your title of your project, of your research. If it's a theory, that is your title of the theory. Or if it's just a name of the paper, that whatever you decide to call the paper, that would be at the title. Then of course your name, and then the school's name. So even though in our class we have people from different colleges across the state, whatever school that you go to, that would be in the school's name. And this is centered in the middle, and not only in the middle from left to right, but in the middle from top to bottom. If you go, all the papers are in double space, so a good rule of thumb is, besides trying to measure it out, is to make sure you're in double space, and then if you tab down between 8 or 9 times, that should put you close or right at the middle. After you type your title, your name, and your school, we'll come back to the running head. At least I'll show you, I think, one of the easiest ways. You all know with your computer expertise that there's 5 or 6 different ways to do this. And if you've done this before, then use whatever way you're familiar with. I'll just show you an easy way. Okay, with headings. I think it's a little bit easier to go ahead and go to your second page. After you've typed in the things for your first page, either hit page break or go down to your second blank page. Whenever you get to that page, go to insert and then insert page number and pick the very first one. It's the page number that's towards the left. It's got left justified. And on the page number, you want to type the title of your project in all caps. Okay? Everything would be in caps, and whenever you type in page number, since you're on the second page, it's already going to put 2. So you want to go to the left of 2 and type in your title in all caps, and then tab over so that the number 2 goes completely to the right hand side. After you've tabbed the number 2 to the right hand side, you want to go up to the top of the ribbon and click Different First Page. When you click that, go ahead and close it out. Then go back up to your first page, which is your title page. Then you want to insert header and choose the very first one. And it usually puts the header on the left hand side. Now this is what makes this APA different than MLA or other research types of papers. You want to type in running head, just like you see it, capital R and then running and capital H, head, and then a colon. After the colon, you hit one space, then you type your same title like you did on the second page in all caps. When you do that, you should close it. If you've done this right, and especially if your Microsoft Word accepts this, and unfortunately we know how technology is, different programs, even from Microsoft from 2007, 2010, they have different functions. But if you've done this right, you should have on your title page, it should say running head, then the title of your paper. Then you should be able to go down to the second page and it just says the title of your paper and it doesn't have running head. And you should have page 1, which will be your title page, and then you should see a page 2 on your second page. I know this sounds monotonous, but this is how they do this in college and in universities. And if you're going to be going on to a university, which most of you are from what you have told me, you'll see this again. If you don't see this, you'll see MLA, and if your kids aren't doing this in school yet, especially when they get to high school, they will. This is one of the most popular forms, so at least if you learn it now, you'll be able to teach your kids later. Now with the bibliography, we don't call it a bibliography. In APA, it's called a reference. Yeah, it's the same thing as bibliography. MLA calls it a bibliography, but APA calls it reference. Now your reference sheet is on the very last page. So you'll have a completely separate page. Even if you're on page 3 of your text and you only get one paragraph or 4 lines on page 3, you don't put references right underneath it. You go completely to your next page. And I said page 3, I should have said page 4, because in our particular paper that we're doing for this class, we're going to be using 5 pages. So you would go to your last page and you would type in references, which should be centered in the page, and it should be bold. And I've given you some guidelines that you can find under the APA tab on Blackboard. And then you need to have your references in alphabetical order. And there's different ways that we do the references if you have 2 authors or 4 authors or 1 author. And there's different ways you can do references when it comes to a journal or when it comes to a website. After you've typed all of those in, and many of you probably know with Microsoft Word you can actually highlight all of them, and you can hit the A to Z key up on the top of the ribbon and it'll put it in alphabetical order for you. Then you want to highlight all of your references, and we want to put these in what's called hanging indents. If you're unfamiliar with this, you can click on the arrow that's on the paragraph settings on the top of your ribbon, and in the bottom right you'll see a small arrow, and you click on that and you'll see something that says special, and it's right where they do the double space as well. You click on special and then click on hanging indents and click OK, and whatever you have highlighted, which should be your entire bibliography, it'll put it in the form, in the hanging indent form. And last but not least, it's very important in APA, everything is in Times New Roman, and it's at a 12 font. That's standard. Everything is double spaced. Now, I've given you on our website or on our Blackboard site an example from provided by Liberty University. They show you how it should look. Then on the reference sheet, they show you here's how you should type something if it came from a book, which in our class we won't be using a book, or if it came from a website, which our class it will, journals. They give you those examples if it's from one author, two authors. What if you have a website that's not from an author? Well, Liberty, this example will show you. Another good free online website to look at is Purdue OWL. They give you many examples as well. And of course, I like YouTube. You can almost find anything you want on YouTube. So if you look at YouTube, and I've tried to provide you a few here, but you can research yourself and you can find some information on how to do APA. Okay, I hope this explains this to you a little more as you do your research. One of the things I'd like to add is in our research with our paper, remember you're going to be getting two different theories and you're going to combine them into one. So whatever this new theory that you're going to come up with, because these are all business related theories, you're majoring in some type of business. And we've got a lot of different majors in our class, I understand that. But the chances of you being a leader is pretty strong. And a few of you have told me that you want to own your own business. Well, you're going to take these two business communication theories, put them together, and come up with your own title. Whatever title you come up with, that will be the title of your paper. That's what will be on your running head, and that's what will be on the second, third, fourth, and the last page as well. Okay? If you have any questions, please feel free to email me.